It's 4 o'clock on Wednesday, and you know what that means, don't you? It's time for another exciting episode of Taxi's Quarantini Happy Hour. Woohoo! Almost couldn't find the audience. And thank you, fake audience. My, what a fine, enthusiastic round of applause that was. Woohoo! Yeah, woohoo. I can't do a woohoo to save my life. You know, it's a good thing I'm not into sports because I would suck cheering on my team. Hello, everybody. Hang on. I just ate like half a bag of unsalted, baked, not fried, blue corn chips. Hello. Let's see. We've got Bob Gunnerfeld, John Pearson, Dan Weber, Nancy Kalel, Greg Carosa, Andre Stepanian, Martin Gravel, Rick Cabot Podmore, Darren Moss, Brad Gray, Il Rosso, Emil, Jesse J. Peck, Ian Shortle, Spring Lovell, hello Spring, L. Harrison. Yep, time to do a little slurping. I've got, hello Paul, how are you? Staying up late. Pete Mason, hello. Alex Dillon, hello. Oh man, yeah, I've got to guzzle some of this, which will of course make me have rock star burps. Hello Spiritual, hello Cass. Those chips are all down the back of my throat. Edmund Red, Michael McGraw, wow, the gang is all here, the whole damn room. Okay, woo. That's a. You know what I like about this flavor of Rockstar? It makes me burp. It has a very crisp taste. It's very thirst quenching. Hello, Lou Lewis. Oh, I know what I've got to show you guys. I'll be right back. The first tomato from Lasco Family Farms. Well, the first big tomato. Although I must have overwatered because it got a little crack in the top. Hopefully it doesn't become a crack addict. Still needs to ripen just a pinch. I'll give it another day or so. It just cut it off the vine yesterday. It's amazing how much better fruit tastes. We got a little tomato off one of the plants the other day, and when our granddaughter was here on Sunday, she and I split it. And man, oh man, just so much better. It's like take a bite of a homegrown tomato versus a grocery store tomato. Although the grocery store tomatoes won't have the crack. They will look prettier, but they won't taste better, that's for sure. Anyway, very proud of my tomato. Alex Dillon, I still have not heard back. Today was the day where I emailed the hotel and said, okay, we're 90 days out. Please give me the official, you're good to go. You are released from the contract. I haven't heard back. My guess is that the director of sales has to run it by the general manager to get the final sign off because it's a legal issue. So hang in a little longer. I mean, you could literally cancel that reservation, you know, probably 48 hours before. You're not going to get dinged. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, fruit in Hawaii. Although, you know, one of my friends in Hawaii told me that they send all the good pineapples over to the mainland, and that the ones they get on the island are like the B stock. It's like, really? Can't see how that is. Oh, we've got Liz and Ariana today. Hello, ladies. How are you? The hotel is talking to their lawyers. Now, I think business has been so bad, sadly, for them and all the other hotels, they probably don't want to spend any money on lawyers. Yay. They can't force me to do a hotel when the governor says, can't do a convention when the governor says you can't do one. You know, I'm not worried about it. I'm just trying to be totally kosher. Pineapple with sherbet. There you go. Ooh. Yeah, I'm not a fan of pineapple on pizza. I don't understand people who do that. Ken Bearden is asking, if I go with an exclusive listing and they do the copyright, does that mean they own the copyright? Yes. But, that's any exclusive listing. Um, they will own the copyright for that song. They control the copyright, but you still retain the writer's share. So basically, if they make a buck, you make a buck. Wow, spiritual. You love pineapple on pizza? I don't know. That's like a collision of cultures right there. Yeah, no fruit, Jim Stamper. I agree. No fruit on my pizza. Lay that sausage on me. That's true. Hawaiian pizza usually does have ham and pineapple. Um, well, at least it's got some form of meat on it. Got to give them credit for that. Wow, pineapple lowers blood sugar levels. Hard to believe because it's got a ton of sugar in it. Ooh, Rick Cabot Podmore loves him some pizza with pineapple. Hey, different tastes, different strokes, different folks. Um, yeah, pineapples grow on the ground. They do indeed. You know what else they eat a ton of? Um, is spam. Every grocery store you go to in Hawaii. I've been to Hawaii now, I think 12 or 13 or 14 times. I go pretty much every year for the Hawaii Songwriters Festival. I've become kind of a. Uh, John Pearson. I've become a regular there, and I'm grateful that they always have me back, and I really enjoy myself. And I'm not a fan of paying, like $22 for a hotel cheeseburger. It just, it's not that I'm cheap, but I am careful with my money. And I just don't see, why would you buy a hamburger for $22? So I always go to the nearest grocery store to whatever resort the thing is at. And I'm there, I think, for 4 days. So I'll buy somewhere between $75 and $100 worth of food. I buy myself some little appetizers. I buy myself some granola, some yogurt, some tangerines, probably like some dried salami or pepperoni that I can put on top of crackers and eat those at 3 o'clock in the afternoon before I go down for a 4 o'clock one-on-one mentor session. Got the whole thing down to a science. And I'm always astonished by the spam aisle. And I'm not talking email spam. I'm talking spam in a can, the kind that was popularized during World War II. And, spam is actually pretty tasty if you like salt and you like fat. Who doesn't? Um, frying up a chunk of spam and throwing it on a piece of toast with a lightly fried egg that is going to drip yolk all over it. Not the healthiest breakfast, but damn tasty. Anyway, yeah, in Hawaii, they have it's kind of like Forrest Gump with the shrimp. They've got, like spam gumbo, spam pizza, spam. I mean, just anything you can do with chunks of ham and gelatinous crap holding it all together. They seem to have figured out and put that all in a can. And you go into a grocery store, pretty much any grocery store in Hawaii, and the spam section there will be infinitely bigger than it will be anywhere else. Also, something that you rarely, if ever, see in Hawaii is America. I don't need a history lesson or a geography lesson, none of that. I'm pretty good at that stuff. But um, I can't remember what they call it, but you go into sushi restaurants there, and they've got spam sushi. Little chunk of spam sitting on a little bed of rice. It's kind of like having a My Pillow with a piece of meat on top of it. And then they wrap a little piece of nori around it. And, why people pay $7 for about half an ounce of spam, I do not know. What do Hawaiians expect to find in their spam folder? I don't know, Peter, what? Darren Moss went to Egg Slut in downtown LA. Wow, no, I haven't tried. Excuse me, I live out in the kind of northern suburbs of Los Angeles. just past Calabasas, like between Calabasas and Thousand Oaks. And, I'm staring out at the mountain as I'm speaking to you, just right over the camera is that beautiful mountain range. And about 7 miles as the crow flies from the top of that mountain range is the Pacific. So, all that to say, downtown LA is like going to another state for me. Rarely get there. Wow, Dan Weber, getting up at 4 a.m. is starting to agree with you. Yay! You know who'd be proud of you? Stephen Pressfield. I got another email from Mr. Pressfield today. He's my new best friend. Very nice man. Um, you know, oh, I know what I was going to ask you guys today. How many of you actually ordered The War of Art after yesterday's show? Because I really want you guys to read it before the rally. Really, really want you to read it. Just period. Even if we weren't having him come to the road rally, I want you to read it. The book, um, Richard Carr, I'm loving Do the Work. Also a great book. Bob Gunnerfeld ordered the book. Yay. Um, it's just, you read it and go, wow, this guy gets it. I purchased and read the whole of War of Art yesterday. Good job, Darren. Um, John Pearson ordered from the library. Ian ordered it a couple of weeks ago. Jesse's already got it. Akira ordered the full set before your announcement. Ron Schultz says, I will do that. You better, because I know where you live. Oh, man. Darren says it was awesome, life-changing. It is. I can't believe that every single person who wants to be like a screenwriter, a novelist, a musician, a fine artist, anything. I mean, this guy took such a deep look inside of himself, and by himself, I mean all of us. And the stuff that he put between those pages is truly life altering. Hello, Merlin Sharp. Martin Gravel. In fact, I have both. The War of Art and Do the Work. Awesome. All right, one more swig of Rockstar, and then we're really going to party. Oh, I've got something else I want to tell you. Darren Fletcher said, I've had all three since hearing Matt Vanderboe mention Pressfield on Taxi TV a few years ago. Yep. That's one of those other things. People say, well, why are some people successful with Taxi and others aren't? I mean, obviously, same company, same opportunities available to everybody, ostensibly the same screeners. I mean, I can't say that this listing will always have the same screeners, that listing or this member, but you know what I'm saying? It's the variable is you and the music. I guess I should say that in proper English. The variables are you and the music. Anyway, so thinking about that. So why do we have, the Matt Hertz, the Matt Vanderboes, the Keith LeBrants, the Bob Meddies, the Steve Bardens, the Stephen Bears. I mean, there are so many of them now that are successful. And look, success is clearly defined in different ways for different people. I mean, if you've got three kids that are between the ages of 3 and 10 years old, you've got your hands full. May not have enough time to devote to your music, but you have some, you can make some, you should make some. So, for you, success might be getting 3 placements in a year and making, a couple $100. Success might be getting some libraries to pick some stuff up. For somebody else, success is woohoo. There's that woohoo again. I just crossed that $10,000 line. For other people, it's I crossed the multiple tens of thousands. That's the one where I start hearing from people when they get their first $10,000 quarter from ASCAP or BMI. That's when they send an email and say, wow, I just made 10 grand in a quarter. Anyway, what are those people doing that are enjoying some modicum of success that the people who are not, when they've got all the same tools right in front of them? The difference, I believe, is found in the pages of The War of Art. So there you go. So Ken Bearden says, so to clarify, if I own the copyright, which you automatically do the minute you create it, and sign an exclusive deal, I'm signing away my copyrights. You are, in fact, signing away your copyrights. And I know probably every music business book you've ever read, every old wives' tale that you've ever heard from other musicians is, oh my gosh, never give up your copyrights. Excuse me. You know, maybe they should put a little less carbonation in those rock stars. When people say things like that, first of all, ask them how much money they make in the music industry. Because you know what? Matt Vanderbo, Matt Hurt, Steve Barden, every one of those people I just listed off, and every other successful Taxi members, one of the Taxi members, they have all given up the copyright. But they've all kept the writer's share. So basically it's a 50-50 deal. Why would somebody want to represent your music, if there's nothing in it for them? MVB is the man. He is. He's the man. And he's got an incredible personality, and his joie de vivre, his enthusiasm, his good-natured, just the guy is like, when you hang out with Vanderbilt, it's like taking a happy pill with some caffeine in it. Yeah, Dan Weber says, stupid little instrumentals, maybe not songs. Okay, so yeah, fair statement. If I've said this before, if you've written a song that you think is your grand opus, and you think that, Billie Eilish or somebody who's just like topping the charts right now, not the Billie Eilish, I don't believe she cuts any outside material, but somebody who does cut outside material. If you think that you've got a song that you want to hang on to and pitch to a major artist, or many major artists, don't give up the copyright on that one. At most, do a co-pub deal, which means that you basically sell half of your interest in the publisher share of the copyright. Remember, every copyright dollar, every publishing dollar, half of it is the publisher share and half of it is the writer share. So in a co-publishing deal, you split the publisher share, so they get a quarter of that dollar, you get a quarter of that dollar, and then the writer share is all yours, so you get another half of the dollar. So basically, you keep 3/4 of every dollar. But that is not the standard deal in the music library business, and the reason so many people get that information wrong when it comes to film and TV placements and music libraries specifically is they don't know anything about the music library business. They don't. Even if you talk to somebody that works at a big publisher like Universal Music Pub or, Sony or Warner Chappell, any of those massive publishing companies, and they go, yeah, I work in the sync department. Chances are they're busy trying to get Billie Eilish's music synced. They work with charted hits most of the time. They don't work with getting do-doom, 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 do-doom in an episode of The Kardashians. That's just not their world. The funny thing is, if they realized how much money is generated in aggregate from all the composers that have music in all those libraries that get used in all those reality shows, I'll bet you that the amount of income that changes, the amount of money that changes hand. What, does this stuff have drugs in it today? Rockstar sugar free. It doesn't say drug free. Maybe it does have drugs in it. Anyway, all the money that changes hands for all those, what I affectionately call stupid little instrumental cues, I bet is several $100 million a year, easily. John Pearson says, you have to give the publisher/library something to work for. It's only fair, in my opinion. I wrote 13 for a library, all vocal songs, signed the copyrights away. I've written so many better since. See, that's the other thing. People get precious, right, John? They write something, and it might be the best thing you've ever written. It makes sense that the most recent thing you've done has all that previous experience backing it up. So, in theory, everything that you do, oh my gosh, the crows are going crazy out there. It looks like a fighter plane scene from like Tora 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 or something. The crows are going nuts. Anyway, enough of the Lasco family farm stuff. What the hell was I talking about? I swear, I've never even been tested for ADD. Yeah, I forget what I was talking about. Whatever. This accelerated cardiac frequency is brought to you by Rockstar. Dean Turner says, we sell wholesale, they sell retail. Yep. Okay, any other questions? Yeah, oh yeah, the crows are out there every day. And usually about this time of day, as the sun gets lower, and right now about 3/4 of the yard is shaded because we have some giant pine trees on one side of the house. Um, that's when the bugs come out. When it starts to cool off and the sun goes down, the bugs come out apparently out of the grass, and that's when all the crows show up, like somewhere between 5 and 10 of them every day, and they walk in a line, like shoulder to shoulder, wing to wing, I guess, and they cruise from one side of the yard to the other, and they're constantly pecking at the lawn. So clearly, they're there for dinner. Actually, it's probably like dessert for them. Um, Question: is it Wednesday? Yep. I know. I mess up a lot of Wednesdays. Um, Ooh, this is a great question for Robert Orzechowski. Had a question on a contemporary singer-songwriter listing. What instruments make it contemporary? Is there Are there recommended artists for listening? Um, Honestly, because I'm old, I may not be the best person to ask this question of, but I can tell you one thing. When they say contemporary singer songwriter, we still, probably 50% of all the submissions will sound like James Taylor, Carole King, Harry Chapin, the classic singer of John Denver. I mean, it's strummy acoustic guitar, very 4/4, very basic, very predictable. Some of it very good, still predictable, and good. Um, but singer songwriters today, I mean, first of all, let's think about the nomenclature for that. Just the phrase, the words, singer and songwriter. It means that you sing the material you write. So, like Mariah Carey, not a singer songwriter. I don't. Has she ever written a song? Well, has she ever actually written a song? So let's see. Can you guys throw out some ideas? Any relative? I'm scanning the thing here. Um, yeah, Mariah did kind of write her first album. I won't disclose his name, but an old friend of mine who I haven't talked to in about 3 years actually um, was her drummer, I believe, in New York, and did live gigs, maybe some studio stuff with her, and ended up writing the majority of that stuff. I mean, she was involved in the writing. I will give her that. There you go, Ed Sheeran. Yeah, Jewel is old school. Ed Sheeran is a great example. He's probably my favorite example of contemporary singer songwriters. Um, Do public domain songs pay the same as a writer song? No, because you don't own the copyright, so you don't get the writer share. What you get, and it's a little too complex for my feeble brain to explain it as well as a music attorney probably would, although they would charge you $500 for the explanation. Um, when it's public domain, you own the master. So that's what you license is the master. I know that there's a way, if you take something that's public domain and you change enough of it, which oftentimes they want something that's pretty close to the original, so you don't want to change the melody or the lyric because then it's not as identifiable and therefore oftentimes less useful for a music supervisor. But wow, the sync keeps lagging? Really? Interesting. So, yeah, the answer is no. If I write a song, I Love Deborah, and I wrote the whole thing by myself, no collaborator, and I recorded it right here on my laptop. And now I own the master and I own the composition or the copyright thereof. And the minute that you finish it and put it down on some medium, be that a recording or write it down on paper, it's copyrighted, but the copyright is not registered. You need the copyright to be registered for a copyright infringement suit if you need to defend yourself in court. But it is technically copyrighted at the moment of creation. Anybody feel free to correct me if I'm wrong about that, but I think I'm right on that one. Interesting that you guys are having technical difficulties. See, this scares me for the road rally. I refreshed once for lag. Interesting. Blame it on the gophers. Yeah, they're probably chewing through my my cabling on the outside of the house. Yeah, so Pierre says +1. I guess that means wow. I'm sorry. It's fine for Paul House. So everybody needs to move to London. That's the answer right there. Um, wow, your YouTube is going crazy. Where's over here, spiritual? Where do you live? Aren't you like in the islands or something? Keeps blacking out. Wow. Uh, yep. I've got my Ethernet cable plugged in. I just checked to make sure the connection was good. Interesting. All right. Well, let's end the show. I'm going to go put my feet up and watch the news. Hmm. Yeah, I've got no. I'm only using 7% of my CPU and only upstreaming about 5K going up. So I'm definitely in the range of happiness over here. I don't know. I have no idea. Let's see something down here. Live dashboard. I'm watching myself on the live dashboard. Man, I make a lot of weird faces, don't I? Only 49 people watching. Wow. What are the other 3 billion? They don't know what they're missing. Yeah, I'm watching the actual feed right now. It says stream health is good. That's what they tell you when you go to the proctologist. Your stream health is good. Thanks, doctor. Could you remove your hand now? Okay. It's fine in Hong Kong. It's fine in Australia. Uh, it's local issues. See, That's what I love about the English language. If you can compress it and make it much more efficient. Rather than saying connection issues, just make it issues. Or if you're Jewish, call it knishes. Pour some Rockstar on the mic. It's the flux capacitor. Ray Hill got it right. Absolutely. Oh, man. Okay, so on other big news, maybe this won't get you guys as excited as I am. Paul Etheridge says it's fine in Albany. Great. How's Melissa? We need more cowbell. Well, you know what? Soon enough, I'm going to be able to play a cowbell on the fly anytime I feel like it. You know why? Because this morning I ordered myself a Rode Podcaster. I should have printed it out so I could show you guys. But basically, it looks to be about yay big, about the size of a laptop. It's got some faders on it. It's got some buttons on it. It's got some knobs on it. It's got a bunch of holes where you plug stuff in, and it's got lights. So I like it. Pierre, voice is out of sync. Yeah, I think that YouTube is having a nervous breakdown. Man, I hope that doesn't happen on November 6, 7, and 8. Anyway, so what does the Rode Podcaster do? Well, let me tell you. I can take, a microphone, whether it's a USB or a mic with a regular XLR connector on it. It's got 48 volt phantom supply. So I can take, I'm actually going to try my Gauge ECM 87 with that thing. I guess I could, can I do this one? Yeah, I think I can actually use my AT 2020 with a regular connector as well, I think. Anyway, I can take a mic and run it in there. I could take a mic for a second person and run it in there. I can take my telephone and solve a problem that we've wanted to solve now for 11 years, and I believe that this is going to be the solution. The problem is not being able to play music directly into the feed, and that's why I've always had to play it through the speakers and just pick it up on the microphone. However, this thing has an automatic feature called Mix Minus that will allow me, let's say that Ariana sends me a playlist to my phone. Let's say we're going to do one of those shows where we do forwards and returns. So I could have the playlist in disco on my phone. Oh, look, there's the backyard. Fascinating. And I can play it from my phone and Bluetooth it into the Rode Podcaster, or I can come out of the headphone jack into a mini in the back of the Podcaster and have probably a little better connection than Bluetooth, even though the phone would be right next to the thing. You see Rob's chimney? Whoa. This is, man, it's so hard doing things in reverse. You know what? I remember trying something. I can't remember what it was called, but it was 3 initials. First one was L. And I remember having this vision in my head at the time back in college. Anyway, now the more mature side of me is going to go back and talk about the Rode Podcaster. I should have, if I had a brain in my head, I should have asked him to send me one so I could brag about it online, tell everybody how wonderful it was. So, yeah, it is. It's just like backing up with a trailer attached. It's a lot of fun is backing up when you've got a car on one of those U-Haul trailers where your front tires go on the trailer thing. So the trailer's got 2 tires, and then your tires from your car go up on the trailer, and then your car rides on the back 2 tires. So try and back that up, because it's not like backing up a regular trailer where right is left, left is right. It's so confusing because you've got 2 sets of wheels and a pivot point between them at play. Anyway, getting back to the Rode Podcaster, I swear I've never been tested for ADD. Maybe that's the problem. Maybe I should be. What else can I do with this thing? I think it's got 8 little buttons that I can pre-program by using an app. I can load, yeah, I can load sound effects in there. What else can I do? I can load music cues in there, so I could take that awesome opening that Keith LeBrant did for me, the rally theme song, and just load that right in there. So anytime I need an opening, boom, just hit the button and it plays it. Basically, the thing, it was designed with podcasting in mind, and you can plug in 4 mics. It's got 4 individually controlled headphone feeds coming out of it. I don't know how many faders it's got on. Let me see. Is there a beauty filter? Actually, you know what, Cass? It does have an audio beauty filter in it because it's got, oops, wrong browser. I'm going to tell you all about the Rode Podcaster. It's got, I bought a used one in like new condition. Right now they're selling it. It's MSRP at $8.99. It's on sale in a bunch of places for $5.99, and I bought an open box one with a warranty for like $508 or something like that. So it's got 4 input channels. It's got a USB input channel. It's got a phone input channel. It's got a Bluetooth input channel. I believe, it's got Aphex on it. So it's got a built-in Aphex oil exciter and Aphex big bottom built into it. So in the reviews that I've been reading, guys who actually really care what they're, like in a world, those guys, and a lot of voiceover stuff actually is done from home studios now. It gives you that radio announcer, like the ballsy bottom end and the nice crisp top end. Yeah, iCarly can be sampled so we don't lose it. I actually have iCarly and that in my phone because there have been a couple of times where I had to do a taxi TV remote and I didn't want to schlep the pink thing with me. Certainly not on an airplane. God forbid it should fall out of the overhead. I would be so embarrassed that people see me with that pink, with this, and no 5-year-old kids with me, girls, because it's pink. Very sexist. Are you taking roll call? Oh, Peter Rahal. Good. I thought I was going to have a new responsibility. It's already so hard doing this show that any more responsibility. Paul House, you've never seen this? What is that? He said. What is that? Why, that is this. And for those nights when Deb and I are in bed and we got nothing to do and I want to jam out and play DJ. Yeah, baby, I can do some scratching. Yeah, the Rode Podcaster is also an interface. Now I just need to download Reaper and I can crank out some bangers. There you go. DJ ML. I have nothing against Pink. I've got 4 daughters, man. Believe me, I know. I don't only know about Pink. I know about shades of Pink. We have Barbie Pink. We have Bubblegum Pink. We have Think Pink. We have Pink the Singer. I remember that when we first bought this house, and our daughters shared the second largest bedroom in the house because they were still little. We had twin beds in there. I would say that we probably looked at 10 different types of pink. We have ice cream pink, and I remember the names of these things. Blink Blink, Pepto Pink. Yeah, there you go. Pepto Pink is actually just about the color that my daughters had their room painted in. We let them pick the colors, and they were about 2 and 5.5 when we moved in here. And I remember that we let them help us paint the room. That was fun. Nothing like giving a 2-year-old a roller full of pink paint. Nancy Kalel, miss you, Michael? Why? You're here every day, and so am I. Why do you miss me? I'm honored, but I'm missing a big piece. Well, what the hell's going on? I don't understand. When I started working, Paul House says, when I started working as a DJ, one of the mobile twin deck units was pink with pink fluff all over it. We called it the Pink Barrel. Nice. Alex Dillon wants to know, do I think Pink would be interesting to interview? Honestly, I don't know. I know that the man, the contractor, the general contractor that actually oversaw the remodel of this house when we bought it close to 20 years ago, uh, he lived in a very nice neighborhood in Encino, California, which is kind of a Tony upper middle class neighborhood. You could easily nowadays drop, like $2 to $3 million on about a 4,000 square foot house there that in like Indiana would probably go for about 275. Anyway, so he was very proud that he lived in Encino and had this nice house with a nice yard. And then Pink moved in right next door. And boy, was his life changed because, there are always like 20 cars out there, frequent late night parties, a lot of music turned up to 11 outside in the pool. And after several calls to the police and complaining to the city and blah, 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 basically he said, screw it, I'm moving. So I think he sold his house. Pink is awesome. Her story is probably interesting. We could ask Shirelli. I think he worked with Pink. Um, oh, yes, Pink Floyd. You know what? If I were a paint company, I would name one of the colors Pink Floyd. You'd probably get sued. Or Bazooka Pink. I think Bazooka Pink and Pepto Pink are pretty darn close. But like I said, there are variants. Um, yeah, yeah. Our contractor was not thrilled having Pink for his next door neighbor. He kept calling. He said that girl, that singer, Alicia, moved in next door because I think when she came over and said, "Hi, I'm your new neighbor," she probably introduced herself as Alicia. He had no idea who she was. He was an older guy. Just didn't know. Should be a Ben and Jerry's flavor. There you go. Are Ben and Jerry still alive? you know? Oh, did you ever see that movie RV with Robin Williams? And in the end, he works for an ad agency and he ends up losing his job at the agency, but getting hired by these two guys that own a company. I can't remember what the company makes, but those characters were clearly ripped off from Ben and Jerry. They had this very kind of boho, earthy, we all wear tie-dye shirts to work kind of company in Vermont or something. Charlie Chaplin bought his French estate in the winter. In the summer, he learned he moved next to an artillery range. I think that's what isn't that called like realtor disclosure or something like that? That they have to disclose stuff like that to you. I think they also have to disclose it if the house that you're about to buy has had somebody die in the house. Certainly, if there was an untimely demise in the house, maybe not somebody who passes away of natural causes, just wants to be at home when their time comes. But yeah, I'm pretty sure if Lizzie Borden is one of your kids and takes out some family members, even though they send in the team to clean the house and get the stink out of it, pretty sure the realtor has to tell you, oh, by the way, there was a horrible murder in this house. Um, Engelbert Humperdinck. Yeah, who the hell picked that name? Humperdinck. Really? And Engelbert. Bad enough that the poor kid's got to be saddled with Humperdinck for his whole life, but oh my, just yeah, I'm not going to go down that road because I'll get carried away and say something I regret. You guys are in rare form today. Pretty funny, I've got to say. You know what I love about Quarantini Happy Hour? It is literally like an episode of Seinfeld because we can talk about nothing and be perfectly happy to do it. Engelbert Humperdinck is 84 years old now? Whoa. That Humper's not dinking anything. Smashing pumping. What the hell are you guys on today? There's a great joke about an entertainment attorney and Dick Van Dyke. I actually helped Dick Van Dyke pick out a laptop one time. What's that big superstore? Can't think of the name of it. Sells anything electronic. And I went in there to buy a cable one day. This wasn't that long ago. It was like 10 years ago. In beautiful Woodland Hills, and there's Dick Van Dyke in the Macintosh laptop area. And he looks over at me and says, "Do you know anything about computers?" And I said, reasonable amount. He goes, "Would you mind answering some questions for me?" I said, "Sure, I don't work here, but I'd be more than happy to. By the way, love your work." I spent, I don't know, 10, 15, 20 minutes telling Dick Van Dyke what the difference was between like a MacBook Pro and a MacBook Air and why laptops are handy, but you can do stuff that requires a bigger screen on like an iMac desktop, or you could buy the laptop and buy a screen on the side, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, he was every bit as nice and wonderful and kind and sweet and funny. Not Circuit City, but Best Buy. No, not Best Buy. Liz, what's the name of the big electronic superstore on Canoga Avenue in Woodland Hills? The one that's got all the goofy, like, clown characters and stuff inside. You go there when you're a computer nerd when you go there and buy the parts to build your own PC. Hi-Fi Buys, nope. Fry's, thank you. Yep, Fry's Electronics. That's where I met Dick Van Dyke. Think about it, all the big stars I've met in my lifetime. Dick Van Dyke, Uncle Bill from Family Affair, who I told you, I was on what they call a head boat, where you got like 25 guys fishing. You go out at night and sleep on the boat and then wake up just before dawn and start fishing. And I can't remember his name. The guy who played Uncle Bill on that show with Sissy and Buffy and Jody. I can't not think of his name. I can't remember my kids' names. Anyway, I went fishing with that guy. Billy Joel in the bathroom. There you go. And so Uncle Bill from Family Affair was actually in the little like net hammock right above me in the boat. And it's bad enough when you're down below, like in a 70-foot boat like that, and all you can hear is the diesel engine. All you can smell is diesel. You're probably being asphyxiated all night while you're trying to sleep. And I had Brian Keith, thank you. I had Brian Keith, who was probably in his late 70s, early 80s, in the hammock right above me. He had a flatulence problem. I kid you not. And I mean, after like 10 or 15 minutes, I just said, all right, I'm out of here. So I went out on the back deck and just propped my feet up and sat out on the deck all night trying to sleep, which was not possible. Anyway, the next day, he was next to me on the rail of the boat. We were fishing. He caught the most fish or the biggest fish of the day. He got everybody kicks in like $20 or $50 or something. You put it into a pool, and then whoever gets the biggest fish wins the pool. It's traditional. It's done all the time. Tour bus, lots of flatulence and diesel fuel. Yeah. I don't think there were any cocaine or groupies on this boat, but other than that, pretty similar. Um, anyway, so yeah, Brian Keith won the pool. He was just tickled pink. And as we were loading stuff off the boat, we were in the parking lot. He said, I've really enjoyed hanging out with you today. And he whips out a business card and writes his home phone number on it and says, give me a call sometime. We should hang out. I live in Malibu. Where do you live? And I told him, he goes, oh, we're minutes away. We should hang out. And the next morning, I wake up to find out that he went home that night and committed suicide. Apparently, he was very ill and knew he wasn't going to last much longer anyway. But yeah. Oh, yeah. And I've met Pat Boone. So, yes, I know all the biggest stars in the world. Yeah, Brian Keith, he was so nice. Such a sweet man. That's funny. Just 2 nights ago, Cass, I made the halibut joke. We had halibut for dinner. And yes, if you go into a sushi fish market, you will hear them call it halibut, whatever. I can't get it right, but definitely halibut with a Japanese accent does sound like hairy butt. Yes, I did. I met Pat Boone, all of him. Mr. French, yeah, I've never met Mr. French, but that is one of that's right there, like number 3 on my bucket list is to meet Mr. French, which I think would be hard because I'm pretty sure Sebastian Cabinet died years ago. Wow, Robert Orzechowski met Roger Hodgson of Supertramp while he was touring on his own up in the Laurentians in Quebec. Ariana, do I need to pose? Have you gotten your shot for the day? Oh, man. I feel so sorry for anybody that actually watches a full episode of the Quarantini Happy Hour who doesn't know us, and doesn't know, like, the purpose of this, that this is a hangout, It's occasionally educational. Oh, yes, pose. She wants me to pose. There you go. There's my pose. Pose with iCarly. Today on Taxi TV, we discuss vegetables that are really fruit. Balance it on my head, call somebody with a bow and arrow. What kind of pose shall I do? They all look the same. I don't know what the hell to do. See, I can't pose. Alan Toussaint, I worked with him for 2 days. Wow, Richard Carr, Alan Toussaint, regular listener at your piano in the French Quarter. Thinking. Oh man, I could make so many bad, very inappropriate jokes that would generate so many emails. So I'm just not going to. But did you get that? Got it. Thanks. Okay. I know. I'm like that 4-year-old little boy who won't sit still in the barber's chair, right? You know what? At the next actual physical road rally, remind me when we're like a month out, but I definitely want to do a get together with the Quarantini crew. But you've got to be, somebody who has regularly attended the Quarantinis. Can't bring a guest because we're going to have to do it super secret, very much on the down low, and it would be great to hang out in person with all of you guys. Yeah, I don't know what is the. Has anybody Googled to see if there's any glitchiness going on? Ooh, Darren Moss sat next to Steve Martin for a half an hour in a restaurant. I was very close, could hear every word he was saying. Wow. Paul House, you better fly over for that. I've done a couple things. When we do them at the Westin, they give me the presidential suite because the Taxi Road Rally is the single biggest event of any hotel anywhere on that like LAX Century Boulevard hotel row. The Road Rally is the biggest event. Um, yeah, Ron Schultz, you're late to the party on the whole out of sync thing. Um, so I get one of those large rooms. It's not like it's Four Seasons classy or anything, but it's nice enough. It's got a real dining room. It's got a little kitchenette area with a microwave and a toaster oven and a refrigerator, and it's got the bedroom with a really nice bathroom, a little dated but very nice sized bathroom with like a giant soaking tub up on a like a riser. Um, every year I say to my wife, "Honey, why don't we light some candles, order up some wine or champagne, and do a little night in the tub?" And she's like, "We have to get up at 6:30 a.m. for the road rally." Anyway, um, so they give me this big room, and it's also got a big patio. Ooh, I've got a story for you guys that I have not told you yet. And we've got just enough time for that story. Anyway, there have been two occasions where I've had like private parties with like 30, 40 people, and it holds that number of people pretty well. It's one of those rooms on like election night where you see whoever the candidates are, sitting in a hotel suite with their all their hangers on around them, as they're all watching TV as the results are coming in. It's a room like that. And would be the perfect place to hang out with all you guys live and in person. So here is the important thing you need to know about this room, and I will make it part of the tour that evening that we spend together. And that is, it's the single best hotel room on Century Boulevard. It's right next to LAX. Actually, it's got a big patio, like 25 feet wide by probably 10 or 12, 15 feet deep, off the master bedroom. And it looks right out at the runway. You literally just could sit there and watch planes land all day long. It's kind of cool. So because it's so close to the airport and it's got this big patio, presidents stay in that room when I mean like real presidents, not like president of Taxi. I'm talking like actual president of the United States, or as we like to call him, POTUS. Um, so Bill Clinton and George Bush have both stayed in that room prior to me ever using it. So Bill Clinton was known, as we all know, as being a little crazy with the ladies, let's say, right? But he was a great president. We liked him. He was fun. Um, so Bill Clinton, okay, I'm going to tell you the full story. I've probably told you this part before. Bill Bill Clinton checks into the hotel with his entourage, cruises through the lobby. The general manager meets him and greets him, takes him upstairs to the room. Is everything to your liking, Mr. President? If there's anything at all that you need, don't hesitate to ask. And Clinton says, well, actually, now that you mention it, I need a stenographer. And this is a true story. General manager of the hotel says, okay, we'll call a steno service and get the person cleared, presumably with the Secret Service. And President Clinton goes, well, actually, I would like the stenographer with the short blonde hair and the blue eyes that I saw at the front desk when we walked through the lobby. Oh, I'm sorry, Mr. President. That was Julie, our vice president of sales. She's not a stenographer. And President Clinton says, well, that's the stenographer that I'd like. So anyway, I happen to know this woman because she did, I think, the first negotiation with me when we first brought the road rally to the Westin. Show's over in 1 minute. Yeah, not till I finish this story. Anyway, so I asked her about this because I got pretty chummy with her, and I asked her if the story is true. So she, in fact, did go up to Bill Clinton's room, and I said, "And what did you do?" And she says, "I took dictation." To which I like snorted my soda back into the can or something. I was cracking up. And I said, "You mean to tell me you actually had a fling with Bill Clinton in this very room I'm standing in?" And she goes, "Yeah, but hold on a minute." She goes, I know that you're really into airplanes. I am. I'm like, really, I get excited about airplanes. Not just flying on them, just like looking at them and, yeah, anything to do with airplanes. So, she says, "Hang on a minute. You got a minute?" I said, "Yeah." So I'm waiting. Finally, she knocks on my hotel room door again, and I let her into the little foyer area. It's got a room with a foyer. How's that? Or as we used to say in Illinois, foyer. And she walks in, and she holds out an ashtray with a picture of Air Force One, like on the bottom of the ash where you would stub out your cigarette. And I said, "So let me get this straight. You did it with the President of the United States, and all you got was the ashtray?" And she pulls out a pack of matches with a picture of Air Force One on it and the presidential seal on the other side. She hands it to me, and she goes, "Nope, I got the matches too." And she actually gave me, somewhere in my office, in my pile of collectibles, I actually have a book of matches from Air Force One, which I'm sure they don't even exist anymore, because not like they have a smoking section on Air Force One anymore. Anyway, sad that I think this is funny. I'm sorry, Ken. Have I offended you? It was pretty funny, I thought. So then, as the story goes, and I don't know this for an absolute fact, but I've been told by one of the general managers like 5 years later that when George Bush came to the hotel, and they were telling him, "Yes, several presidents have slept in this room," it's because it's got the big patio that it allows them to have Secret Service guys that actually sleep right on the other side of the sliding glass door from the bedroom. So they can put like 4 Secret Service agents out there. So apparently a lot of presidents use it. So they were telling President Bush the younger about this. And he said, "So Bill Clinton slept in this room?" And they said, "Yes." He goes, "All right, I need the mattress changed right now." True story. Anyway, there you go. Wow, Ron Schultz is still on Brian Keith. That must be... from like, what, 10 minutes ago? Now I'm afraid to log off because you guys, you're going to think that, oh my goodness. Well, just so you know, Ken, I'm what they call a swing voter. I have voted for presidents of both parties, so any presidential jokes I tell here are definitely nonpartisan. I vote for the best person. So there you have it. That's everything you need to know about the hotel. The new podcaster, which will be here in about a week. I can't wait to try that thing. I'm so excited. Can't wait to eat this tomato. And I would really appreciate if you guys could take 5 minutes today and go into, I almost did my Bill Clinton accent there. If you guys could go into the comment area after the show, the archive is posted, and give me some topics for tomorrow's show. I feel like the last few shows have been very free-form. I'd like to do something a little structured. And you're welcome, Robert Orzechowski. I like answering questions. Yeah, I'm excited about the podcast. I hope it works great, too. I would love to be able to play music through the wire, have the sound effects all preloaded, all that stuff. So there you go. That's it. See you guys tomorrow for another really, really, really exciting episode of the Taxi Quarantini Happy Hour. Bye-bye, you guys.